Hi, you guys, it's Melanie, and welcome to Living Luxuriously for Less, where we celebrate, decorate, and enjoy everyday life for less. In today's video, I want to share with you guys something that a lot of event planners and designers are not really prone to share on social media. And I feel like it's extremely important because the truth of the matter is we all go through it. And once you learn how to deal with it in grace, things will be so much better. So, as you read from the title of this video, I had an event planning disaster. And this disaster was pretty bad. It was so bad that I was never really able to recover from it. And so that is why I'm creating this video. I want to share with you guys how to handle event planning disasters when they go totally wrong. So recently, the Christmas tree balloon trees had been totally trending. And you guys know I am all about outsourcing something, especially when I know that it's time consuming or something that I've never done before. However, my normal balloon vendor was already booked, and this was very last minute. And so I felt like, okay, this is something that I could probably tackle myself. Um, my team that normally works with me, this was for our ministry, so we, kind of volunteered together, but this was not something that we had ever tried prior to doing this particular project, which was my first mistake. I should have definitely done a little bit more research prior to attempting this. I probably should have tried to put it together way before. But I'm one that, I don't like to be held back because of fears, because most of the time things have worked out better than I could have ever imagined. And I never imagined this being any different. I mean, it was just balloons, right? So I thought. And so I purchased the lampstands that everyone uses to do the balloons. And Adelie and I sat down, and after we blew all the balloons up, we were ready to really dive into, everything that this project had to offer. Little did we know what was waiting on the other side of this entire thing. And so the first thing I want to share with you guys is the mistakes that I made in this being a total disaster, and one that I never recovered from. And so that was number one, not properly planning. Number two, after realizing that my normal person was not going to be available, I should have practiced. So poor planning, poor practice. The next thing that led to this whole debacle was not having enough time to try to implement this new plan on the day of the event. And then the last and final thing was not having the proper products, because at this particular time it was too late for Amazon Prime. I had to just rely on what I could find in my area locally. And I'm going to tell you guys, not all balloons are created equal. And so that was my next issue. And so once I got the stand in place, I decided to just kind of overinflate and underinflate some of the balloons in order to create that tree. But that was just not the smartest thing to do. And so I looked at a few tutorials, and I was like, "Oh, I got this. I got this. This can't be that difficult." And I literally spent my evening just feeling it was just a total waste. It was a total waste. I felt so defeated. I felt so deflated. The balloon quality, although they looked great, the quality was absolutely awful. I popped way more balloons than I was able to use, I mean, it was just so frustrating. The entire process was frustrating. I'm trying to keep a smile on my face because I think that's one of the most imperative things that you can do is always look at it from a positive standpoint. But you guys, like, there are times that we fail. We fail to execute the vision. We fail to execute the plan. And the thing that everyone is left pondering, the question that everyone is left pondering is, what do you do next? What do you do when you fail? And that's what I want to answer. The first thing you want to do is you want to um, you want to learn from your mistakes. And I told you guys earlier the things that I did wrong in terms of preparation, planning, practicing, purchasing, and the products. You know, those are the 5 P's of having a good event. You want to make sure that you prepare, you practice, you plan, you have the right products. You know, all those things have to be, you have to have the right people. All those things have to be in place. And, you know, sometimes you can have all those things in place and still fail. And, you know, it that to me determines the professionals from the amateurs. And the first thing you want to do when something like this happens, if it's for a client, is you want to offer your apology. You want to come up with alternative solutions that um, the client will be, you know, potentially happy with. You need to think about a compensation plan. You know, what do you do? How do you, what percentage of this project was a part of the overall vision, and compensate accordingly. Now, this was just a piece of the backdrop. So for something like this, you know, I would not be willing to offer like a huge, you know, compensation because everything else looked really good. But this one piece was like, was not it. It was not it. So I would probably offer like the cost of the balloon arches, or, you know, offer that amount off the next service. So let's say if these balloon trees would have cost $300 or $350 or $500, I would offer that amount back to the client. And then I would also offer like, or maybe I would offer $500 off of their next service, whatever they wanted. I would give them more than one option so that they could feel like they were a part of the design process. Another thing is that, you know, when you find yourself in situations like this and you know early on that you're not going to be successful, like, go ahead and start looking at alternative vendors and people that you can call in to be a part of it. By the time I thought about someone else that I could have used, it was too late. And I was just like basically wasting time and money trying to make this whole thing work. Like, I even used super glue on the balloons, trying to make them stick. And you guys, that was the biggest mess. Like, it created an even bigger mess than the initial mess. And it was just not a good process for me. I never championed these trees. We finally did what we could to save Faith. But overall, the process was just a complete, utter, and total waste of time and money. And when you come across something like this, the most important thing you can do is learn the lesson from it and implement best practices that will prevent you from being in this place again. It has been a very long time since I have been in this place. I've been designing and decorating for events since 2005. So, of course, I've had many victories, but I've also had many defeats. But I took them all as learning lessons. And I wanted to take this opportunity to be very transparent and to share with you guys what happened. So here's what I was finally able to salvage. It looked okay, but it was definitely not the vision. But in the end, what I did was I made the best of it. So the next day I went back and I tweaked it a little bit more, and I ended up doing a fashion show because I know you guys enjoy it. So I'm going to leave you guys with that fashion show. I hope you enjoy. Let me know down below your worst event planning disaster ever and how you handle it. Or if you have any questions that you would like for me to answer, leave it down below. I'll see you guys at the next video. Until next time, It's Melanie with Living Luxuriously for Less. Cheers.
Talk to me nice.